Welcome back to episode 179 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Another week of baseball has passed. We have topics that we want to discuss today. Same cast of characters as always. I can't believe it, we're actually approaching the first month of the season being completed. Which is kind of crazy. The season started the 25th of March, of course, with the Giants and the Yankees. So it's kind of hard to believe that we're already approaching 1 month into the season. But we got
Yeah, man.
topics we want to discuss today. But before we get into everything, of course, like we always do, Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I can't really complain too much. I mean, we're this season, man. I mean, you kind of hit it right on that. I was gonna mention it if you didn't. This season is going quick. It's flying by so far. We're almost a month in, and these things are really starting to take shape. You can definitely tell the teams who are going to be kind of a real pain in the ass for the rest of the league, and you can kind of tell the bottom feeders, apart from the teams who are going to be there at the last dance, But I'm doing good, man. It's been fun. It's been a fun month of baseball, but we got plenty more to go. So how are you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. As you can clearly see, I am all Lakered out. Playoff Melo is here once again. Lakers got a huge win on Saturday. I'm very excited. I know there was no KD, but hey, there was no Luca or Austin Reeves. So it's not like the Lakers are playing, you know, the Lakers are missing some key guys as well. But I was very inspired by the Lakers' performance Saturday night. Luke Kennard, 27 points, 5 threes, getting me excited, dominating. DeAndre Ayton playing well. LeBron, of course, doing what he always does, and this is the time of year where he always shines. But Lakers got me feeling very excited, and Game Two's tomorrow night. But um, yeah, I'm doing extremely well. The Dodgers, on the other hand, they've dropped 2 games in Colorado, which I'm kind of disappointed in that. But they kind of got some issues now. It seems like with their pitching, with Edwin Diaz, maybe not 100%. Roki Sasaki stinks it up again. It was a little bit better this time, but I hate to keep making excuses for him, but
Mm. Yeah.
I would like to think Coors kind of played into a little bit of that yesterday. But again, we'll get into that more at the end. Doing extremely well. This is the time of the year where these teams, my other teams, really dictate my mood. Kings lost yesterday, but that's okay. They're playing the best team in the NHL. I hope they win this series. It's not that likely they will, but I was afraid that the Kings were gonna get completely steamrolled yesterday, and it's like, oh shit! Not only do we not have a chance, it's like this is gonna be an ugly 4 games. But they lost 2-1. There was a couple bounces that didn't go their way. I'm actually okay with that. So I got a big sports night tomorrow. I got Lakers Kings. I think Kings at 7. Then I got Lakers at 7:30, and then that same thing Friday. I think I got Lakers and no Sunday. I got Lakers and Kings again. So you're gonna see some people are gonna really start seeing either the best out of me or the worst out of me. But anyways, we'll get off of that. But there's your little update.
It's
A week from now, my Kings could be out and the Lakers could be down in this series, and I could be a miserable fuck again. But for right now, the
it's
vibes are good. Vibes are high. Lakers, keep it going. They really inspired me Saturday. And as you can see, I'm all decked out. I got my Luca jersey. I got my Laker headband. I'm excited.
dude, it's so funny because like my teams don't even give me the option to to wear their merch or anything else because my teams suck, dude. Every one of them. Not only are the Blackhawks out of it, the Miami Heat are out of it, and over on the football side, yeah, it's off season, right? A lot of people are like, well, how much can you be pissed off about being a Giants fan this off season? Well, the fact that we just traded our best defensive lineman, um, but you know what? We get the 10th overall pick, so it's not too bad in return. But we got OBJ possibly coming back to the New York
I
Giants,
heard
and
about
listen,
that.
13-year-old me is freaking going nuts right now, and I will be pulling out my OBJ jersey if he signs back with the New York Giants. But my teams don't give me anything to root for, dude. except for the Yankees. You know, I mean, yes, the Yankees, I shit on them all the time, and I'm probably going to shit on them a little bit at the end of this episode. But yeah, man, it seems like my Yankees are the only the only team that I can consistently cheer for every year without getting absolutely pissed off. So, uh, good for you, man. I'll say that. Good for you.
I appreciate that. It's only game one again. I can't get too excited. That I can't get. I tell myself don't get too high with the wins, but don't get too low with the losses. I have a hard
Mhm.
time getting not getting too low with these losses, but
I
uh,
get it, man.
yeah.
I get it.
So it was a good night Saturday, and hopefully the Lakers can continue the good vibes going into tomorrow night. But let's get back to the baseball stuff here. We had some sad news, unfortunately, that broke Friday morning. I remember waking up Friday and reading it, and not kind of like, what do you mean? Like I couldn't believe it. Of course, we're talking about Garrett Anderson, um, suddenly passing away at the age of 53. That was shocking,
Yeah.
absolutely shocking to hear that news. Um, of course, you don't want to speculate. We don't know what it is or what happened. Of course, first of all, thoughts and prayers to his family, his friends, everybody in the Angels organization. Cause and I want to shout out to the Angels as well. They did a tremendous job with the tributes that they did to him Friday night because it was actually um, of course, the Angels had that 4 game series against the Yankees, and then we found out Friday morning that he had passed, and then the Angels had a 3 game series right back at home against the Padres. So shout out to the social team, shout out to everybody, the grounds crew. I know they put the GA, his initials, in center field. They put his the patch that the Angels are gonna wear all throughout the remainder of the season. They put that in center field and, of course, on all the jerseys. And just the touching tributes from his former teammates. I heard from a lot of former Angels, Tim Salmon, Jared Weaver, a lot of former guys, especially on that 2002 championship team with the Angels. So um, it sucks, man. It's just, again, it's another reminder that life is so precious and, it could be taken away at any time. And um, just, again, again, I've said this 1,000 times. I'll say it again. It sucks that it has to come at a time like this for me to remind everybody. Call your loved ones, man. Call your friends if you haven't talked to them in a while. Make sure they're okay because you never know. One simple phone call or text can go a long way. I mean it seriously. But just continued thoughts and prayers to his family and friends, and tremendous job by the Angels in such short amount of time getting the tributes together, and it was beautiful to see that over the weekend, of course, and the Angels won pretty handedly on Friday night, so that was really cool to see as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That was very well said. I will say, this is coming from Yahoo Sports. The cause of death was released. He had passed away from a heart attack. His wife Teresa had let ESPN know. Um, yeah, so obviously, like I was very young when Garrett Anderson played, but obviously I remember the name. This he he was the type of player who I almost feel was a little undervalued in
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. He embodied everything it meant to be number one, a great ball player, but number two, a great person. He listen. A lot of people when they look at Angels franchise history, Garrett Anderson does come up in a lot of the stats, in a lot of just conversations. Listen, he played 15 seasons there. He was there for a long time. Just a few of his accolades, just to name a few. Obviously a 2002 World Series champion. He was a Hall of Fame inductee from the Angels in 2016. He was a two-time Silver Slugger Award winner, three-time All-Star, and a four-time Angels team MVP. He is also the franchise holder for many things, including games, at-bats, hits, and total bases. And listen, we we obviously joke around about the Angels all the time, but that's nothing to scoff at. For the fact that he is the franchise leader in games, at bats, hits, and total bases says a lot about this man. I mean, it was absolutely wild, the type of ball player he was, and the Angels said it perfectly. They said that he was a quiet superstar, and that is 100% spot on. Um, just if you want to have a heyday, go look over at his baseball reference page. 25.7 career WAR, 293 batting average. This guy, I mean, yeah, he was a extremely good ball player, and gone too soon, man, way too soon. And you summed it up perfectly. You listen, you never know. You just never know when life is going to come to an end for anybody, and for anybody it can happen tomorrow. So again, please, again, exactly what Melo said. Please call your loved ones. Please make sure you check up on the people who you hold dear to you, because at the end of the day, you never know. And it's a it's a tragedy, but unfortunately, it is part of life. And and the Angels are doing a great job in their memorial for him. Obviously, wearing the GA patch for the rest of the season. I think that's a it's a very touching gesture. And yeah, just kind of double downing on what you said about everything. I mean, they did a phenomenal job of honoring him, and yeah, gone too soon. Rest in peace, Garrett Anderson. Um, you were a hell of a ball player and even better man.
Absolutely, very well said, Kyle. And yeah, and you mentioned it a second ago. Yeah, again, the Angels, they've been around for over 60 years.
Yes.
They, um, I, I don't like to say it, but it's true. The Angels were the
Hmm.
first team here in Southern California.
Yes.
Um, and again, Angels have been around for 60 years. That's not nothing. And Garrett Anderson he leads the all time he leads the franchise all time in hits with over 2,000, almost 2,400. He has he leads them in RBIs, games played, and doubles, and of course he was a key player. Hit a huge double, bases clearing double in that game 7 to give the Angels the lead against the Giants in 2002. And I saw that video clip playing a lot over the
Yep.
weekend and especially on Friday when we heard the news. So, um, it's impressive. It really is. Again, the Angels are not one of these teams they're not a new franchise. The Angels have been around for over 60 years. So to have those type of stats, it's impressive. And again, there's been a lot of like big names that have played for the Angels over the years. Reggie
Yep.
Jackson. I know he's not a hitter, but Nolan Ryan, guys like that. And Garrett and I think and I mentioned it to you kind of off camera before we press record. It hit home for everybody here in Southern California, even Dodger fans, because this guy was born and raised here in LA, and he went to school in Granada Hills, John F. Kennedy High School. Like he's been here in Southern California for a long time.
Yep.
He played of course, you just mentioned it, Kyle. 15 years with the Angels. He played a year in Atlanta, and he finished his career with the Dodgers. But of
Yep.
course, his best years were in Anaheim and in Orange County. So, um, that really hit home for a lot of people here in Southern California, especially if you were of the age that got to see him in the late '90s and of course in the 2000s. But again, everybody I can't say it enough. Tremendous job by everybody in the Angels organization to in such a quick notice to put all that stuff together. And I know the tributes are going to continue um, throughout the Angels season. And kudos, man, to the crew that does the television for the Angels. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know if a lot of people knew this. I'm sure you did. Garrett Anderson was also like a color commentator for the Angels too. Like he would come in like maybe I'd say maybe 20 25 games throughout the season. He would either be the color guy in the booth or he would be like the pre or post game analyst with them too. So that had to hit home not just for his former teammates, not just his family and friends, but also the TV production people that they had to see him, all throughout the season. And he was there last year. I think he was probably scheduled. Again, I don't know what the Angels' rotation was with the TV and stuff, but I'm sure he was scheduled to do a couple games coming up here shortly. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But kudos to the Angels broadcasting team too for keeping it together. And again, he was close to everybody in that TV and everybody around Angel Stadium. And it's sad that he's not going to be around, but um, very, very well said, Kyle. And again, may he rest in peace and continued thoughts and prayers to his family and friends.
Absolutely.
All right. Moving on to the other topics here, we have got Kevin. Um, I'm having struggle saying his last. Kevin
Kevin
McGonigle.
McGonigle.
Yeah, I'm Kevin McGonigle. 8 year extension. I should learn it because he's gonna be here around here for a while now. He got an 8 year extension, 150 million. Very nice. Again, again, you're seeing this with a lot of these smaller market teams. They are locking down their rookies right away, and I've heard a
Mhm.
lot of it is because due to the work stoppage coming up this off season, maybe things start to get tampered around. But of course, all the contracts that come into play, if there is a salary cap next year, it's going to be grandfathered in. So if you're a team like,
Yeah.
if you're a small market team like these guys, or, you can lock these guys down immediately. But I like it. It makes sense. Don't mess around here. I know the Tigers are not a small market team, but we have seen that they have acted like a small market team in the last couple seasons prior to like 2 years ago. But you've seen this with a lot of small market teams, and I'm glad some of these other teams are starting to do it as well. And it makes sense, I mean, it's better for the Tigers in terms of their payroll. You throw a bunch of money at this kid, you throw a bunch of money at this rookie that is, what's he gonna say? No, of course, he can easily deny it and continue to play it out and maybe get a bigger contract with them or with another team. But I like this little strategy that these teams are doing. Lock down your cornerstone pieces now. And again, this contract, if he continues to play well and if he continues to turn into what we think he's going to turn into, it's going to be a bargain in like 4 or 5 seasons from now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was well said. I mean, I think the fact that we're seeing so many rookie extensions this year, I think I mean, we've seen a few in the past years, but nothing like this year. I feel like it's completely
Yeah.
taken off. Obviously, Connor Griffin to name another, but Kevin McGonigle he was my AL Rookie of the Year pick. I think he has been off to a fantastic start to his career. Just to name off some of his stats: 312 batting average, OBP is 411, 481 slugging with an OPS of 892. He has, let me see here, 90 plate appearances, 24 hits, two triples, and a homer to his credit, and 9 RBIs as well. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a mainstay in that Tigers lineup. He is very clearly adjusting to the major leagues very well. And I don't know, maybe they just wanted to wait a little bit before they got this extension done just to see, like, hey, give us a small sample size. Let me see where you're at right now. And hey, he's been hitting the friggin' leather off the ball, I'll tell you that much. But this was a phenomenal extension by the Tigers because, again, with the lockout coming out, we don't know what this is going to entail. Is there going to be a salary cap? Is there going to be a salary floor? And if there is a salary cap, if you get a if you get Kevin McGonigle for 8 years, 150 million, there's a chance he could turn into a superstar. And guess what? That's not a lot to your payroll every year. So good for the Tigers and good for Kevin McGonigle. I mean, he gets a long-term deal with some big money. I mean, 150 million. Hey, I'll take that any day of the week. But good for him, and yeah, good for the Tigers, man. And again, like I want people to know, like this isn't a lifelong contract. It's 8 years, and you got to remember, for a guy like Kevin McGonigle, he's 21 years old, dude. He is 21. When this contract ends, he's going to be 29, possibly in the middle of his prime. So, hey, this contract ends, he gets a cool 150 million the last 8 years. And if he's at that superstar level that we think he can be, guess what? He can sign a big extension again, whether it's with the Tigers or with another team. But obviously for right now, he's with the Tigers for the next 8 years. And 29, that's a good age, man. That is a good age. So good for the Tigers. And hey, Kevin McGonigle's in a really good spot. I'll tell you that much. And he's still my AL Rookie of the Year pick. And I think when everything's said and done, he's going to win it because he is that type of guy. I mean, we've seen it. So, yeah, great extension all around for both parties.
Yep, very well said. My AL Rookie of the Year pick is Murakami, and hey, man, he's continued to
That's
hit the
also
shit out of
looking
the
good.
ball too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's looking good, man. I believe he's hit 3 homers
yeah,
in his last 3 games.
yeah. I'm pulling for him just because he's my pick, and he seems like a cool guy too. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. All right. Moving on to depressing news. The Padres got sold over the weekend. Um, 3.9 billion. It is a record. Of course, the previous record was from Steve Cohen with the Mets, which we'll get to them in a second. Maybe he'd want to think about getting his money back for all this stuff. But Padres got sold to two people,
Yep.
Jose E. Feliciano and Quananza Jones. So um, I
So
think
husband and a wife.
a husband and a wife, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the husband also has like ownership. I think in Chelsea, the soccer club too. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard that over
Yes,
the weekend as well. So this guy's got
he is the
money,
co-owner.
clearly. Yeah. Um, Congratulations to the Padres. It was very clear that in the last couple of years, of course, we saw all the reports of the bankruptcy and stuff like that, and having to take out loans to pay their players. It was very clear that the Seidler family, especially after um, Peter Seidler passed away, it was very clear that the family probably wasn't going to stay in control that much longer. And sure enough, this actually came about very quickly, because I remember hearing like a year ago that this team was, they were putting their team on the market or something like that, and then a year later, you've got plenty of buyers. This is good for San Diego. And again, the thing that you always are concerned with when you get new ownership in, number one, do they want to keep the team there? I'm not saying the Padres are gonna want these. I'm not saying these people are gonna want to relocate them or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. But continue to do what the previous ownership did. Now that's not always the case. I know with the Mets, when they got the Wilpons out of there, it was like, please give us something else. We don't want to be this cheap, um, ownership group. We don't want to be ran by this cheap ownership people anymore. Give us something else, Steve Cohen. But in the case of the Padres, you had an owner and Peter Seidler that was all about trying to win, trying to get a championship for San Diego, pushing all his chips in the table. Hey, let's go get Juan Soto. Hey, let's trade all these prospects. Let's go get, a Juan Soto. Let's go sign Xander Bogaerts. We want to win. So um, I'm sure if you're a Padres fan, you love it, especially with the deep pockets that this family has. But the only thing that I would be concerned about, I hope they have the same desire to win as Peter Seidler did. And I think if you're a Padres fan right now, that's all you care about. You can have all the money in the world. We're seeing this with the Mets, and again, we're going to get to them in a second. But all that money doesn't buy you everything. It doesn't. And all they have to really do is just be able to financially support this team. Because, again, I hate to admit it, but AJ Preller is clearly one of the best baseball executives we have in the sport. Just his unwillingness to, settle for anything other than winning. He wants to compete every year. He's willing to sell out his top prospects to go get a Mason Miller at the deadline last year. So, um, as long as the Padres can continue, as long as this new ownership group can continue to come in and help out with the financial stuff that maybe the Seidler family couldn't do these last couple seasons, look out. This is especially. I mean, we'll see again with the changes potentially. This all depends on the CBA next year. If there's no law, if there's no salary cap next year or going forward, look out, because you're gonna have this Padres team back in the mix again very quickly, with the deep pockets that this new ownership group is gonna have, and again, I don't think Peter Seidler's. I mean, excuse me, I don't think AJ Preller is gonna go anywhere. I hate to admit it, but look out, this Padres team might be dangerous again soon. I'm not saying they're not now, because they're playing well and they're like half a game out of first place against my Dodgers, but who knows? Maybe the Dodgers could have some competition here. I mean, listen, you're never gonna beat the Guggenheim Group. Come on now, that we're an empire, but you never know. Maybe this group can lead the Padres. I think they will lead them into the future here, and I'm very much looking forward and excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is possibly the best thing that could have happened for the Padres ever since Peter Seidler sadly passed away. Yeah, I think obviously Jose Feliciano and his wife are very smart people. They're obviously like have built themselves an empire in order to buy a baseball club, let alone one of the I'd say one of the most historic franchises in baseball. I mean, dude, the Padres are there, man. So For me,
I don't
I
agree with
think
that.
also they're in your division. I get it. You know, obviously I look at the Tony Gwynn days, and in recent history,
That's
man,
when they
they've
were
been
cool. They're not cool now.
there. Regardless, the Padres have been there at the end of the year ever since I'd say signing Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis came over from Chicago, and they started getting this core together. You know, the Padres have always been there. They've been a really good ball club, and Jose Feliciano and his wife are extremely smart people, and I would think they have an idea of what they want to do, and they're not going to buy a team just to let them, go to shit basically. So I have enough faith in them to know what they're doing, and they're probably going to be relying on the guys who are already in the front office.
Yeah.
Um, so I think this is kind of a win-win, man. AJ Preller's there. I mean, he might even get more money to spend. And if that's the case, look out. Because we already know AJ Preller is a GM who's going to be after every big trade target once the deadline comes. He's going to be after every big fish in the market once free agency comes. AJ Preller is a smart baseball mind. No matter, yes, obviously Xander Bogaerts was a little bit of a stretch, and signing some of these guys and trading for some of these guys, it's questionable. But you know what? The one thing that Padres fans can say is, yeah, we have a winning front office who wants to win.
They
And if you
care.
get a guy exactly, they care. And that's the one thing you can say about these moves is yes, maybe some of them were like questionable, but they care enough to make the splash, enough to give up the top prospects that some of these small market teams refuse to do. And I think that's huge, man. That's huge in today's game of baseball. So good for the Padres, man, all around. I can't see a world where this changes anything, at least for the negative. This is all positive in my book. So good for the Padres, seriously. Good for the Padres and good for their fans.
And it's good for baseball too. So, um,
Absolutely, yeah.
more money for these other owners because obviously they all share the piece of the pie, which I think
Yep.
I think we're gonna have to look at that again at the end of the season. But
But again, listen, the more stuff like this happens, the more you and I are going to be in here screaming our lungs out about spend the money.
yeah,
Because then we wouldn't have these problems. Because guess what? All the smaller market teams now are going to get a bigger portion of the pie. Because you get a guy like Jose Feliciano and his wife coming in, billionaires. I believe I've read somewhere they're $4.4 billion net worth.
oh, a lot like me.
Listen,
That's what mine sounds like.
they're gonna be there to give the money. So guess what? At the end of the year, when your revenue's down and the Padres are up, well, him and his wife are gonna have to fork a little bit more in, and the Tampa Bay Rays are gonna get a nice little chunk out of that. So listen, the more this happens, the more you and I are gonna be on here screaming our heads off about spend the damn money. It's the way I view it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is an eye opener for some of these other teams that are maybe on the fringes of wanting to sell their team, specifically the Anaheim Angels and Artie Moreno. If you can
Yep.
get 3.9 million billion for the Padres, what can I get
Imagine
for
what you
the
can get from
Angels?
Angels.
Exactly. The biggest team outside of the Ducks in Orange County in Southern California.
I was gonna say, where are you going with that? The biggest team in Los Angeles?
Don't be funny. Let's not be funny today. Let's
Listen, I have to poke at you sometimes, man. I can't let you have all the fun on here.
right. That's true. That's true. But again, I'm gonna take you, man. When you come out here to LA, we're gonna take a nice drive down the 5 freeway. Well, we're not really gonna have a drive because we're gonna be stuck in stop and go traffic for the whole time. But we are gonna get there eventually, like the next day. Um, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna take you to the parking lot of Angel Stadium, and all I'm gonna do is point. You see that arena over there called the Honda Center? You want to know what their team name is? The Ducks. You want to know what their city they affiliate themselves with? Anaheim. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're going to turn to the other side. I'm going to say you see that stadium with the big A on it? They're called the Angels. But you know what they affiliate themselves with? Los Angeles. End of discussion. Let's go home. Let's go back in the car and go home.
Absolutely. I
That's
get
gonna
it, man.
happen. And you're gonna see the same you're gonna feel the frustration that I have felt for years. Why are they Los Angeles?
Understandable, man. I get it.
The majority is I don't want them affiliated with this great iconic city because they bring it down. But also, why can't you just be proud of where you're from? Like why like the Angels? I mean, just to give everybody who's not hockey fans, the Ducks play into the fact that they are from Anaheim and they're from Orange County.
Yeah.
They want nothing to do with LA County, and I'm glad because it shouldn't be like that.
Hmm.
I just wish the Angels would follow under the same suit. That's all. Like they used to be 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You know when they won their World Series, when they went on the road to play their games in San Francisco, you want to know what the front of their jersey said on their grays? It said Anaheim on it. Because that's where they're from. They're not from Los Angeles. They're from Orange County. They're from Anaheim. So stop using my city in your name. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
I get it. Listen, man, I'm a Giants fan. We're called the New York Giants just because we're in the New York metropolitan area. That doesn't necessarily mean we play in New York.
Hey, you play New Jersey.
East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yeah. Thank you. I had to get that off my chest. I have to remind everybody once in a while that really bugs me.
I have to get you. I have to get yourself.
Yeah, you do. You really poke at me to get it out of me.
And that's what I did the last minute and a half.
And I appreciate that. And once you come out here, then you're going to start feeling my frustration as well.
I get it, man. I get it.
Okay. Man, we're really with the topics here. All right, Mets. They lost 11 games in a row. Um, they couldn't hold a 1-0 lead yesterday.
Hmm.
Yankees legend Devin Williams could not hold a 1-run lead in the ninth inning, of course. And then it led to a walk-off in extra innings. Mets got problems. Mets have some huge problems. And it's gotten so bad that now you can go on FanDuel. Not me, because I live in California, and God forbid if I ever open that app, I would have the feds knocking at my door in 5 seconds. But if you're not from California, you can open the FanDuel app. You can go to futures under baseball, under Major League Baseball, and you can actually bet on when the next game the Mets will win. That's how funny and that's how bad it's gotten with this team. But listen, it's only a ticking time bomb before Carlos Mendoza gets the boot, and it sucks because he's a good guy, and I don't think he should be fired. To me, this is all on David Stearns. He built this team, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, somebody has to pay the price, and it's just easier and cheaper to get rid of the manager. Um,
Yep.
but how far is this losing streak gonna go? Because I was looking at their schedule earlier. They actually have a very favorable schedule coming up.
They do.
But it's the Mets. You never know how they're gonna play. Well, I do know they're gonna lose, but um, have they? Again, it's too early, maybe because it's still the end of April. But have
Yeah.
they sunk themselves enough to where they're just not gonna make the playoffs this year, or is it still too early for that?
To me, it's still too early. If you're asking me about first place, I don't know. That is where I may say that they have sunk themselves too early. But if we're talking about the postseason here, they are 8 games out of first place in the NL East, and they're only 3 games out of second place here. I that is very favorable to them. Listen, and the Marlins and Nationals are ahead of them. It's not like the Phillies are, because guess
They're right
what?
behind them.
Newsflash: the Phillies aren't that good either. They're 8-13, and the Mets are 7-15. They're a little bit better,
Just like we
yes,
all would have
but
thought
listen,
at the beginning of the season.
yeah, seeing the Phillies in fourth place and the Mets in fifth is, oh, it's wild, absolutely wild. I mean, listen, my Atlanta Braves pick looks pretty good right now,
It's true.
but I will say this isn't going to be
No.
the final standings once the fat lady sings. This is going to shake up a little bit, and I'm not counting the Mets out by any means. They are 3 games out of second place, but I will say the Mets need to turn it around as soon as possible because they could dig themselves into a hole that bad. Listen, longest losing streak since 2004 for the New York Mets. This is tough, man. This is tough. There are 11 games right now, and you kind of asked a little bit earlier about they have a favorable schedule coming up. When is it going to stop? It's got to stop within the next week, right? It has to. I I mean, today they're off, but they play a 3-game set against the Minnesota Twins, and they play a 3-game set against the Colorado Rockies. Um, both of which I believe, or yeah, I believe they're all at home.
They're home.
Yeah.
They have the day off today. They're coming back home.
Okay, here you go. You get a 3-game set against the Twins, 3-game set against the Rockies, and then you have a 3-game set against the Washington Nationals. Listen, it's gotta, you have to take one of those games against the Twins. You have to. If you don't, you better take them against the Rockies. Because listen, the Rockies and the Nationals are two teams that you should be looking at sweeping, not just taking,
Tell that
oh,
to
can
my
I at least
Dodgers.
get can I at least get one game, and that's different. It's in division. That's a different ball
Yeah.
game. But um when it comes to the Twins, just because that's who they play next, I'm going to look at them real quick. Yeah, they're third in the American League Central, and just because I'm of course not prepared,
Don't look
yes,
now. They
they
had like
are.
the second best record in the American League 2 days ago. They
I
had
know.
one of the buys.
Yeah, they're 500. They're 11-11 on the year. Dude, the Mets got to take one of those games. You can't tell me they're going to get swept by Minnesota. That would be ridiculous. That would be a detriment to this team. And I will say this. You are 100% correct. I do not think Mendoza should be getting the shit end of the stick for what's going on in New York right now. Listen, we have been making a joke about the whole run prevention thing all off season.
I've
You've
posted it twice so far this season. I wonder how long I'm
yeah,
gonna keep going because I don't
that's
think
what I'm
it's the
saying.
last time it's gonna happen.
I don't think so either. We have made the joke about it, but honestly, like it's the real thing. You're playing a okay, when healthy, you're playing a second baseman at first base. You're playing a shortstop at third, and Marcus Simeon, yes, he's been playing some second base throughout his career, but he came up a shortstop. Listen,
And and
when you
and
play
and
this,
and I know Juan Soto's hurt right now. He's a tremendous hitter. He's not exactly the
Mhm.
best outfielder in the world either.
No, he's not. And listen, I can say that. I know I saw what it was like, and I'm not taking anything away from Juan Soto. That ship has sailed. I'm over it. But you're right. He has been on the shelf. Jorge Polanco's been on the shelf a little bit. Bo Bichette hasn't started off the year he like he should have.
Lindor, how about
Yeah,
Lindor?
Lindor's another one, man. It's this team blew up the core last year and got some guys in there, but I'm going to tell you right now, for some odd reason, people don't like playing with Francisco Lindor. And I think that goes a long way. We saw we saw it last year
But
when
he's
all the
Mr.
reports
Smile.
came out. That's what I'm it doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Listen, Lindor on the outside and from a fan perspective, he seems like a great guy. I've always rooted for Francisco Lindor. I petitioned for the New York Yankees to trade for him a few years ago. Listen, I mean, kind of bit the, dodge a bullet on that one, but
Yeah, I think you're okay
when it
now.
comes down to it, yeah, I'm all right now, I guess. But this team is a dumpster fire. And David Stearns, I don't know what the hell he was thinking this offseason. Now, listen, I like the moves that came in. Don't get me wrong. I like letting Pete Alonso walk. I like the Brandon Nimmo trade. I liked blowing up the rest of this core that clearly has not worked over the last few years. I love the Bo Bichette signing. I love Jorge Polanco. I listen. Back in his Twins days, I wanted the Yankees to trade for him. I've always liked Jorge Polanco's game. But when you play these guys out of position and you bring them in on new deals, you have to experience some kind of withdrawal from, their normal kind of play, things like that. But this Mets team has taken it to a whole new freaking level. This Mets team finds a way to lose no matter who's on that team. They could have Shohei Ohtani as DH and starting pitcher and Aaron Judge in the outfield. I can guarantee you they'd still find a way to lose. I don't understand it. I really don't. It sucks. Don't get me wrong, because I was high on this Mets team. I still am. Don't get me wrong. I'm not counting
They
them
were
out of
my
anything.
NLCS pick to get and
Listen,
lose to the Dodgers this year.
they might still get there. You never know. Listen, I'm gonna take your graphic that you posted that you made on Around the Diamond, and the last time each team lost 10 games. Listen, it's been a while since the Dodgers done it. It was
Still
2017,
got
and
to the
look where
World
they
Series there.
exactly look where they ended up. So I'm not counting this Mets team out. I'm really not. I still think fully healthy, this Mets team is much better than what they're producing. But number one, it's got to start now against the Twins. And if it doesn't, I really hope Carlos Mendoza does not get fired because I still think he's the guy for the job. I think David Stearns needs to be the one out, man. I really do. But to your point, they are going to fire Carlos Mendoza if this continues. So,
And Mendoza will
for
get
sure.
another job quickly too.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Carlos Mendoza, when he was the bench coach of the Yankees, I absolutely loved him. I hated seeing him go, and seeing him in the managing role, I think he's done a phenomenal job. I really do with what he got. On field, I think he's done a phenomenal job. And playing these guys out of position is not his fault. He's being told to play these guys out of position because that's why they signed him. I don't understand it. Why would you put Bo Bichette, a shortstop at trade, to third base, a position he's never played, and expect it to work and expect to win the World Series? And especially because you're playing other guys out of position. It's never gonna work. Never. Sorry, this isn't Moneyball A's where Scott Hatteberg can play first base. It's we're way past that. So when it comes down to it, though, I do think the Mets are gonna be there. I'm not counting them out. If this next week, if this losing streak continues, I might count them out of winning the division. But as of right now, I'm not counting them out. No, because especially from the postseason, they're only 3 games out of second place, and then at that point, you just chip away at the Braves. So, um, but the Mets need to turn this around starting tomorrow against the Twins. They need to.
How far does it get before he gets fired? Because I think if he gets swept by the Twins, I think he's out immediately the next morning.
I think you, I think you kind of have to because listen, at that point, it's going to be a 14 game losing streak, and God forbid you keep him and you get you lose that first game against Colorado. Yeah,
And they're at home
I'm.
too now.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It's one thing your
They're at
way.
home.
It's like, all right, you can ignore the noise, but now you're coming home. You know how New
Yeah,
York fans are. They'll boo their teams for anything. So,
absolutely. And their last win came April 7th against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where they won 4-3. They have lost two to the Diamondbacks. They got swept by the Athletics. They got swept by the Dodgers. Swept by the Cubs. Listen, I don't want them blowing this out of proportion because, yes, does it suck to have an 11-game losing streak? Absolutely. But the Athletics, the Dodgers, and the Cubs, that's some solid play there. It really is. The Dodgers and Cubs, we all know what they are. And the Athletics are a young rising team. Do I think you should have won that series against the Athletics? Absolutely. Should you have taken one from the Dodgers? Absolutely. Should you have probably won the series against the Cubs? Yes. But I think it's too early yet. Now you get swept by the Twins, then we're talking something else. But we'll see what happens. But for for Carlos Mendoza's sake, because I absolutely adore the guy, I love him as a manager. I don't want them letting him go, but again, to your point, I definitely agree with you. I think if you get swept by the Twins, he might be on his way out.
all right, our teams, and then we'll call it a day. I'll start here with the Dodgers first. Again, you're gonna hear me say this unless the Dodgers go on like on what the Mets are doing, like an 11-game losing streak. It's too early to be really concerned about anything. I guess I know they've dropped um, 2 out of 3 to the Rockies so far, and they have this weird wraparound series this weekend where they have one more in Colorado tonight. When I first was looking at the schedule and I saw Rockies, I immediately assumed, all right, well they're playing 3 in Colorado Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they'll go to San Francisco and play, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or something like that. I didn't know it was a wraparound series like this. Um, Again, it's hard to like get this team. There's a lot of guys that have been moving in and out. I know Mookie's been hurt. He's expected to come back, I think, here very soon. Freddie Freeman went on the paternity list. Um, some of these other guys are getting called up. So this team hasn't really been full since I think since we last left the homestand last week. And if you really want to get technical, we haven't had a full team since that national series when Mookie Betts got hurt at the beginning of the season. So again, I can't. I can't panic. They're still okay. Um, I'm looking at it right
I,
now.
I, yeah, okay,
They're
yep.
15-6. Like they're okay. But
Hmm.
the only thing I am a little concerned about is Edwin Diaz healthy? Because if he's
Um,
not, why is he on the why is he still on the? Okay, go for it.
I'm sorry to
No,
cut
you're
you
good.
off, but I wanted to make sure you knew this. He is going on the 10 day. I'm
Okay.
sorry, he's going on the IL with loose bodies in his elbow, and they're bringing up Jake
Oh,
Elder.
that's not.
Um,
That don't
no,
sound good.
Diaz, who has had a 10.50 ERA, had only pitched once in the past 9 days and was rocked Sunday, obviously, like you were talking about. So he is placed on the IL. I wanted to make sure you knew that because I know you've recorded with your phone and stuff.
Yeah.
So just wanted you to know.
Thank you for telling me. So now that makes a lot more sense because he didn't pitch in any. He didn't pitch in the 3 games against the Mets, and that was kind of concerning. It's like, well, he didn't pitch much over that previous weekend. It's like, well, what are you waiting for? First, it was they didn't use him against the um, Rangers, and then they didn't use him against the Mets, and it was kind of concerning. And I'm glad they put him on the IL because if he's not healthy, he's not healthy. Just get him off
Hmm.
and let him heal. Like I said, I hate injuries, but it's a part of the game. But if there's ever a time to get them, it's now. It's in
Yep.
April when these games are still not that meaningful, and we need guys like Diaz to be ready to go down the stretch. And it was a little concerning because I think his last outing, the velocity was down. He wasn't up to where he usually is to start of the season and even during spring training. So that was a little concerning. But hopefully it's just a quick IL stint. Just have to fix the mechanics and let him rest a little bit, and then he'll come back ready to go. But I can't believe I'm saying this April 20th already. But just get healthy. Just get healthy and weather the storm. That's all I really have, honestly. Kind of eerie, similar to how last year started too. They got off to this
Mhm.
hot start, and then guys started, flying off the shelf, and guys started going on the shelf with injuries, especially their pitching. But um, the only thing that I'm looking forward to is how long can Shohei keep his on base streak going because now he is, um, I think he stands alone third all time for the highest um, on base. I think he's at 50 games, and it almost came to an end. I think it was Friday or no Saturday, because he got intentionally walked, but of course that doesn't count. So he got a huge base hit in the ninth inning. Of course, it didn't lead to anything because Kyle Tucker flew out to end the game in the top of the ninth. But um, again, it's too early to panic about this team. They're 15-6. They're still fine. They have a favorable schedule. One more in Colorado tonight, and then they got the Giants, and then they come home for um, Cubs, and then they have the Marlins next week. So finish the month strong and just wait for some of these guys to come back. Because Mookie's on his way back. Freddie, I'm sure, is going to return from the paternity list very quickly here. Just get healthy. And for the guys that are hurt, don't come back until you're 100%, please. Seriously. And I know Roki Sasaki had another bad start again. We really got to consider sending him down because this is not. You can't. I know the Dodgers are so good that they can do this, but you can't be throwing games like that every. Because that's essentially what you're doing. You're sending Roki Sasaki out there. It's like, well, probably gonna lose this game. Let's not get in a habit of doing that. Let's maybe consider sending him down and bring some of these other guys up. But again, not going to complain too much. They're still fine. I know they were the last team in Major League Baseball to lose 2 games in a row. I think they're doing something right here to start the year. But got to win tonight. Got to get a split. After all that, I say the Dodgers have to win tonight. A meaningless game in April in Colorado. But Max Muncy looks
Hey,
good.
that's
You
does,
mentioned it
man.
that maybe he needs to get tested as well. But
Yeah, dude, seriously. He's been absolutely on a tear.
that's all I got for my Dodgers this week.
All right, man. Well, yeah. As soon as I get these timestamps. Okay.
How about those Bronze
Yes.
Bombers?
Yeah, man, where to start? I guess for me, good overall week. I mean, I don't have too much to complain about. The Yankees kind of, ever since they dropped that series against Tampa Bay when I was down in Florida, luckily I didn't end up going to any of those games. I'm glad I didn't. But yeah, they got swept by Tampa Bay, and then they started a new series, a 4 game set against the Angels, and then Kansas City Royals came into town. Yeah, you took a series split against the Angels and you swept the Royals. Would I have liked to get the series win against the Angels? Absolutely, but it is what it is. At least you didn't get. I mean, at least you didn't lose the series. So the Kansas City series looked great. It really did, man. That team was on a roll throughout the entire time. I mean, bullpen looked good. Boone was really good with his bullpen management. The starters went out and did what they had to. I'm gonna save the lineup for a little for like the next segment because I have a few things. But the Angels series, I will say that first game really showed me a lot about this team. Bottom of the ninth inning, and Trent Grisham comes up and gives the Yankees the lead 11-10. Given the fact that he had his 2-run homer, it showed a lot of resilience out of that team. It was a great game. I mean, I think we kind of talked about it. We said game of the year candidate so far. It was a great game, man. It really was. And then you lose one, you win one, you lose one, and then you welcome in Kansas City. Now, it was kind of like a week for me because the Yankees, again, it's April. They were kind of in second place there for a little bit. They were in third place at one point in the last like 2 weeks. But going in, or today, after the Kansas City series, they are in first place, 13-9, a half a game up on the Tampa Bay Rays. Uh, yeah, it was a good week, I guess. But the one thing I want to talk about is the lineup, and there's a few guys I want to give flowers to. And number one, I think the most important, possibly even more than Aaron Judge this season, has been Ben Rice. Ben Rice has been hitting the ball like no other. I mean, he's been playing some great defense at first base, which is something that I was concerned about last year. But listen, man, he's picked it up. He's had a year under Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt's still there now. He's a good mentor to have, right? Especially for a guy like Ben Rice, who's kind of that dual catcher first baseman kind of thing, but he's kind of taking the reins as the Yankees first baseman. His stats for this year, and I'm going to tell you why he's so important in the New York Yankees: 338 batting average, 476 OBP, and an 800 slugging. On top of that, he's hit 8 home runs. Same with Aaron Judge, and he's batted in 18. Yeah, man. I mean, he's been off to a phenomenal start to the year. OPS 1.276. I think that's what stands out to me the most. Is this guy is absolutely hitting the cover off of the baseball, and he's getting on base. I I say it about Aaron Judge and why I think he's so valuable is because he's not just a home run or bust. He's an all around player who gets on base. He hits his doubles. He takes his walks when he needs to. And that's exactly what Ben Rice is doing. He's following suit and he's doing it better than Aaron Judge is this season. I mean, he's hitting over 300. There's nothing I can complain about. He's playing a Gold Glove level first base, and that's what you want. He's picking the shit out of these balls in the dirt that freaking Ryan McMahon's throwing across his shoulder. And then you got Cabby over there at short, who hasn't had the greatest starts of the year. I mean, he's doing a phenomenal job, and I think he's a big reason why the Yankees are where they are. And Ryan Weathers coming off of his start, he looked good finally. 7.1 innings and no run ball. Listen, that take that any day of the week. So for the Yankees, I don't have much. I mean, I'm not there's not much I can say. I mean, they're first place. Keep winning. Looking forward at the Yankees schedule. It's going to be a long road trip for them. I'll tell you that much. 3 game set against the Boston Red Sox in Boston. Then you have a 3-game set against the Houston Astros. And then you go over a little bit in Texas to Arlington, where you play the Rangers for 3 games. It's a bit of a tough schedule, man, especially that Red Sox series. The Red Sox are a division rival, and we all know what the Yankees and Red Sox are. It always means a little bit more, even if it is in April. Then you have Houston. The no matter how bad Houston is, they will always give problems to the Yankees. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. 3-game set in Houston kind of scares me a little bit, depending on how Boston goes. And Texas, they're a solidified team. I mean, you know what you're getting out of them. So next week when we come back in here, they'll be starting their series that night against the Rangers. So we got 6 games, 3 against the Red Sox, 3 against the Astros. Of course, why wouldn't they? So we'll see how that goes. But overall, right now I can't complain, man. They're back in first place, and they've been playing good ball recently. So good for them.
There you go. How about it? Hopefully our teams can keep it up here. I cannot. There we go. I just got the notification from MLB. Edwin Diaz on the injured list. So there you go. All right. Well, unless you got anything else, that's going to do it.
I think that's it, man. I think that's going to do it for 179. Yeah, crazy, man. Almost a month into the league, into the season. That's crazy.
Again, we're going to say it a lot. Enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know what the future holds with this sport. But for right now, just enjoy that we have games on every night.
Yeah, man. Do not take them for granted.
No.
Listen, we all hated the lockout last time, and I can guarantee you it's going to be 2 times worse at least. So enjoy it for sure.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a week. Adios. Go Kings, go, and go Lakers.